My name is Don Fountain. I am a trial lawyer located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
My name is Ben Whitman, and I'm a partner at Clark, Fountain, Litkey Rubin, and Whitman in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
My name is Rick Millian. I'm with the law firm of Redemar & Millian.
The Cabalas case was a very unique and incredible case. It was one of the saddest, most traumatic, tragic cases that I have ever heard of.
The incident took place on December 21st, 2023.
A young woman and her children were stopping to buy fuel after Christmas shopping, getting ready for the holidays, having just finished up their family picture a few days before.
And while the mother had gotten out of their car to get gas at a local Circle K gas station,
While she was getting ready to pump the gas, another lady saw an open on the opposite side of the same fuel dispenser as Miss Cabalas and tried to back into that spot.
and that other customer made a mistake and pressed the gas instead of the brake while she was backing up. And it caused her car hit the fuel dispenser, dislodge the fuel dispenser, and it pinned Mrs. Cheryl Cabalas between her car and the fuel dispenser.
A huge fireball erupted and burned her to death in front of her children. It's a very unique, very traumatic case.
This case was about identifying and holding responsible every person and every company that was involved in causing this to happen.
What we proved throughout the case was that this was entirely a foreseeable event, but even more importantly, and perhaps more sad, is that it was easily preventable.
This case centered around three separate failures. The first failure was the failure to install additional bollards and impact protection. The second failure was something called a shear valve, and this is a shear valve. The shear valves are designed to break into two pieces. The shear valve did not fully seal, and it allowed gas to leak out. That was the second failure. And the third failure was at the gas station, and at many gas stations, there are emergency stop buttons, just like this one. Inside of the gas station and outside of the gas station, they had emergency stop buttons. And the clerk who was on duty testified that she pressed the button multiple times. And when you do that, it shuts off the electricity to the underground fuel tanks that are pushing pressurized fuel up towards the dispensers. And the clerk testified, and the evidence showed that the button that she pressed didn't work.
The Cabalas case was also unique in the way that it was litigated. It was a very, very complex case. It began with a multitude of defendants, well more than a dozen defendants. And as it evolved throughout the case, many of the defendants realized the magnitude of the case and began to voluntarily settle the case. And as they began to fall away, we were left with the main culprits, the main fault party, the people who had the greatest degree of responsibility for this incredible tragedy. And that's where the case ended up, against Circle K, the owner of the gas station.
The goal for this case was set for us by our client, and he gave us a goal and a mission very early on, before we knew really where the case was going to go. And he said, please make sure my family is taken care of. Please make sure my children are compensated for what they've been through, for the fact that they saw what happened to their mom.
During the litigation process, as the evidence began to develop, as depositions were taken, as documents came about through the discovery process, various defendants began to decide, we want out of this case. You settle with some defendants, some of the liability theories, some of the facts that were important before are no longer important. And the case has to be distilled down to its essence before it's presented to the jury. And that's where DK Global was able to help us in their presentation.
Certain aspects of the case involved looking at a crash sequence that happened really quickly. We wanted to slow it down and show it clearly. DK Global's animation team was able to take the existing raw data and create animations. There were certain components that were really important for us to zoom in and show on. For example, where the sparks occurred from that started the fire. And their team was able to help us take the raw data sets and turn those into animations that were helpful to explain the case. In this case, we were able to use the DK Global video in an interesting part of the case. In certain areas of Florida, including where this case was pending, the trial courts are requiring that the parties use a process called non-binding arbitration. Circle K came to the arbitration and they called expert witnesses live, which is not typically done. They called corporate representative witnesses live. They submitted briefs. They did all these different things to try to explain their position. We, on the other hand, provided the DK Global product to the arbitrators in advance, and we didn't put on any other case other than a short closing statement. The arbitrators considered everything and entered a arbitration award that was in our favor, and it was an astounding arbitration award that held Circle K responsible for a majority of the fault and assigned a damages figure that was astronomical.
There is no question that DK Global and the input and the services that they provided significantly helped us at the arbitration and was going to help us throughout the trial.
The defendants know there's only one or two things happen with cases. They either get settled or the jury decides them. Those are their only two options.
The first indication that the mood was changing towards possible resolution was really right before the trial. On the Tuesday or Wednesday before trial, there was a very important hearing with the court, and the court ruled against Circle K in our client's favor and said the jury is going to hear about the children's pain and suffering for what they witnessed that day. The implication was the jury was going to see and hear a lot of really difficult video where you hear the children reacting to what they're seeing, and you can see the children reacting to what happened to their mother. My opinion is that when Circle K knew that the jury was very likely to see that video, it pushed the case in a direction of somebody decided this is one that maybe we should try to settle. Right before the case was set for trial, and we mean hours, not weeks, we were approached with a settlement offer that was too large for our clients to consider turning down. And ultimately that's how the case resolved and ended right before trial. Working with DK Global was a collaborative process. Ultimately, they committed to us to make sure that the production met our needs. We appreciated their commitment to us, to the case, and to the client to make sure that no matter how much work it took, we were all on the same team to make sure that the outcome for the Caballes family was as good as it possibly could be.